Hello everyone, I am DJ Bahiram, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry at CHEM College, Nasik. Welcome you all in this lecture. In this semester, I am going to teach you CH-101, that is the physical chemistry. Before going to start, let me introduce the brief outline of this syllabus. CH-101, that is the physical chemistry, having 2 credits and comprises 36 lectures. The physical chemistry contains 3 chapters. So first chapter is chemical energetics, second one is chemical equilibrium, and third one is ionic equilibria. So let's start with the chapter number 2, that is the chemical equilibrium. The second law of thermodynamics gives the conditions of spontaneity with the introduction of new function entropy. So the criterion delta S is greater than 0 for a spontaneous process applies only to an isolated system. In order to decide about the feasibility of process, we must know the total entropy change, that is the entropy changes in the system as well as the surrounding. But chemists are generally interested in systems which interact with the surrounding environment. So it would be preferable to have a criterion that could be applied to the system without changes in the surrounding. Such a criterion can be developed for a processes such as phase changes and chemical reaction that occurs at constant temperature and constant pressure. Hence, a new thermodynamic function, that is the Gibbs energy or free energy, is introduced, and this Gibbs energy is defined as G is equal to H minus TH, where H is the enthalpy and T is the temperature. Since the Gibbs function is defined in terms of state functions and it is a state function, throughout chemistry we will use only changes in Gibbs free energy of a system for a process occurring at constant temperature and pressure. So the change in Gibbs free energy is delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. So this equation represents the change in Gibbs free energy. Hence, the criterion for the spontaneity of a process is delta G is less than 0. Now, let's move to the another topic, that is the Gibbs free energy changes in a chemical reaction. The thermodynamic function used as the criterion for a spontaneity of a chemical reaction is the Gibbs free energy of a reaction, that is the delta G is nothing but the reaction free energy, and the Gibbs free energy is defined as the difference in molar Gibbs free energy GM of the product and reactants. For example, for a reaction A into A plus B into B gives the C into C plus D into D, where small a, b, c and d are the stoichiometric coefficient of a reaction, and capital AB are the reactant and capital C and D are the product. So the Gibbs free energy for a particular reaction, that is this reaction, can be written as delta G is equal to C into Gc plus D into Gd minus A into Ga plus B into Gb. In general, it can be written as delta G is equal to summation of Np into molar Gibbs free energy of a product minus summation of Nr into molar Gibbs free energy of a reactants, where Np and Nr are the moles of the each substance in the product and reactants in a chemical reaction. The standard Gibbs free energy of a reaction, that is the delta G naught, is defined like the Gibbs free energy of a reaction, but in terms of standard molar Gibbs energy of the reactant and products. So the standard Gibbs free energy of a reaction we can write like this: delta G naught equals to summation of Np into the standard Gibbs free energy of a products minus summation of Nr into the standard Gibbs free energy of a reactants, but in terms of standard molar Gibbs free energy. That is the standard Gibbs free energy of a reaction is the difference in Gibbs free energy between the products in their standard state and the pure reactants in their stable state at 1 bar at a specified temperature. The most stable form of an element is the state with the lowest Gibbs free energy. Alternatively, the standard Gibbs free energy of a reaction, that is the delta G naught, is the change in free energy that will occur if the reactant in their standard states are converted to the products in their standard state. So it is a fixed quantity for a given reaction and does not vary as the reaction proceeds. So the above equation, that is the equation number 1, we can also written as delta G naught equals to summation of Np into delta G naught F of products minus summation of Nr into delta G naught F of a reactant, where delta G naught F is the standard Gibbs energy of a formation, is the change in free energy that accompanies the formation of 1 mole of the substance from its constituent elements when the substance and elements are in their standard state. So the standard free energy of formation of an element in its standard state is 0, and therefore the value of delta G naught tells us nothing about the rate of a reaction. There are several ways to calculate delta G naught. So one straightforward way to combine standard enthalpy and entropy So we'll get the delta G naught F is equal to delta H naught F minus T delta S naught F. Now let us see what is meant by exergonic and endergonic reactions. Let's start with the exergonic. So what is meant by exergonic? Exergonic is nothing but the reaction that have negative delta G naught, where energies released are called as exergonic reactions. For example, a formation of water from its elements. And second example, formation of carbon dioxide from its elements. These are the examples of exergonic reaction. Now, next one is endergonic reaction. In endergonic reaction that have positive delta G naught, where energy is absorbed, are called as endergonic reaction. Let us see example. Formation of diamond from graphite is the example of endergonic reaction. So in exergonic and endergonic, in exergonic the reaction that have negative delta G naught, that is the energy is released, and in endergonic the reaction that have positive delta G naught and where energy is absorbed. So friends, in this lecture we have seen the introduction of chemical equilibrium and then Gibbs free energy of a chemical reaction, and the last one is exergonic and endergonic reaction. So in the next lecture we will see the problems or numericals based on Gibbs free energy of a reaction. I hope you got all these points. Thank you.